Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, word to my brethren in Dallas, Texas, and word to my brethren in Washington, D.C. And speaking of both them cities, we're going to talk about an upcoming fight this month, I should say, between Errol Spence and Lamont Peterson. Now, I'm going to keep my ears to the streets of the YTBC, and I've been listening to what people have to say about, like, because there's a good chunk of people out there that I've had a chance to listen to who think that Lamont Peterson is going to beat Errol Spence, that he's going to pull the upset and beat Errol Spence. And I listened to what they had to say, and so some of it makes sense. Big shots to my main man, Casual Boxing Talk. I don't know if he watches my videos or if he subscribed to me or not. But I'm a fan of your channel. I'm a supporter of your channel. I watch your videos, and I was listening to you talk about Lamont Peterson and what he's going to do to Errol Spence. And what you said, a couple of things you said make some sense. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, man, it seems like what you're saying is one that like it seems like for whatever reason you're a little biased towards Lamont Peterson, which is fine. Maybe you're from DC, maybe you're cool with the guy, who knows. But my thing is, like, okay, let's take our emotions out the equation, because I'm guilty of it too. I've had many fight predictions where I get emotional, like a certain fighter. Maybe I favor them, they lose. It's happened before. But taking the emotions out of it, Lamont Peterson is a good fighter. He's an experienced veteran, but he's not fighting Danny Garcia. He's fighting a whole different caliber of fighters. So you can't compare past performances to what he's about to experience on January 20th. And I went back and recently I watched the Lamont Peterson Danny Garcia fight, because that was a fight that when I watched it live, I thought Lamont pulled that one off. I thought he got the W. But then I went back and I watched it, man, and he waited too long. Lamont Peterson waited too damn long to walk down Danny Garcia. And the reason he waited too long to walk down Danny Garcia was because he was afraid of the power Danny Garcia has, and if not the power, then the accuracy of his punches. Because Danny Garcia, if you open up yourself to him enough, he is an accurate of enough counterpuncher for that to hurt you or surprise you or buzz you, and then you're playing more to his advantage. And that's happened in fights where Danny's won before. Happened in the Amir Khan fight. Amir Khan opens himself up so much that he got checked with a left hook by Danny Garcia, and that was all she wrote. So Lamont didn't want to do that. He kind of waited to see what was in front of him, gauged the power, gave away some of the early rounds, and then around round 6, round 7, that's when he starts walking them down and having success. So my thing is, like, okay, he's damned if he does, and he's damned if he doesn't in a fight with Errol Spence. And I'll tell you why. Because unlike Danny Garcia was a guy that really was small. He's smaller. Even when he rehydrates, he's smaller than Lamont Peterson. I believe Lamont Peterson had about maybe 10 to 15 pound weight advantage on fight night. Then you look at Errol Spence. This is a guy that on fight night he rehydrates as high as 170, 175 plus. I don't know about 175 plus, but he's definitely 170-ish when he rehydrates. And a guy that can punch you and rip you to the bar like Errol Spence with that kind of weight behind him, if Lamont waited that long to walk down Danny Garcia, what the hell makes you think he's going to walk down Errol Spence earlier, or even want to walk down Errol Spence earlier? Because his game plan might not even be to do that. He might just try to box him from the outside, which I know Casual Boxing Talk mentioned in his video. But my thing is, like, okay, you box from the outside, and what's going to happen? Okay, what's going to happen is he don't have the power like Kell Brook. I mean, Kell Brook, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure in the opinion of many, outside of Errol Spence, Kell Brook was the naturally strongest welterweight in the division. He was the naturally strong, like, as far as physical strength, he was the most physically strong welterweight outside of Errol Spence. And Errol Spence stopped in the 11th round. So my thing is, like, if Kell Brook couldn't keep Errol Spence off of him, what the hell makes you think Lamont Peterson will be able to do that for 12 rounds? You know what I'm saying? Like, Errol, from what I learned in the Kell Brook fight, he has an underrated jab. And his jab, he's never really throwing it to land. Like, it does land, and it can be effective, but his jab is it only serves for two purposes. It's either one, to walk you down and jab on the inside, or two, it's a rangefinder to set up the left hand. That's all it's really for. It's a decoy. So I think casual boxing talk and many other boxing fans in the YTBC and at large are making the same mistake with Errol Spence that I made in the Kell Brook fight, and that's being that you underestimated his jab, you underestimated his defense, you underestimated some things that he makes look very simple, but aren't very simple. If you've actually boxed, been in the ring, you know these things. So Errol is defensively responsible. Errol has a good enough jab to nullify some of the advantages Lamont will have on the outside, because Lamont is a superior outside boxer. But Errol, as far as power, as far as inside fighting, which Lamont Peterson is also a good inside fighter, but he's not going to beat Errol Spence fighting the way he did against David Avanesian, like in his last fight. You see what I'm saying? Like against David Avanesian, he was in the trenches. I believe that's what he fought in his last fight on the Broner Granado's undercard. He fought David Avanesian. He was in the trenches. He was working shots. He was sitting down. He was pivoting. But like against a guy like Errol Spence, where that's his bread and butter, that's his wheelhouse. That's where he likes to kill people. That's the body punching and inside fighting is basically Errol Spence's torture chamber. So if Lamont Peterson wants to get into that torture chamber, it's fight on the inside. You'll see what happens. But as good of a fighter Lamont is, we got to keep in mind this is also a guy that did get stopped by Lucas Batiste at 140 in what was it, like 2 rounds. So I mean, he's been stopped before. He can get stopped again. And this is going to be an Errol Spence Jr. who's very confident, coming off of a massive, massive win against Kell Brook in the UK. This is probably going to be an Errol Spence who, on the low, is probably very pissed off, very frustrated that Keith Thurman is ducking him. This is an Errol Spence that I believe is going to come out motivated, and you're going to see a fighter that wants to continue establishing himself as the number 1 welterweight in the division with the clear-cut, dominant performance against a guy like Lamont Peterson who's given some of the best in the world fits. So, Lamont Peterson is not beating Errol Spence because he don't have the punching power, he don't have the chin, and he don't have the mental discipline to do it for 12 rounds. I'm gonna say it like that. He don't have the mental discipline to outbox Errol Spence for 12 rounds because Lamont Peterson has too much dog in him, and the fact that he has too much dog in him is gonna get him hurt in this fight, and it's gonna get him hurt. It's gonna get him stopped. I'm gonna say somewhere around the between the 8th and the 10th round, he should get stopped. But I think it'll be a good fight. I think Lamont's going to give Errol some problems on the outside for a couple rounds. Errol might give a round or two away early on, but I think just as the fight wears on and on, the distance will be cut more. You'll see Lamont begin to fight in the trenches more, and the natural, the fact that Errol is a big welterweight and Lamont isn't, that's going to be the difference in the fight. Coupled with the fact that Errol's body punching mechanics, his body punching in general, just all the way around the board, is better than Lamont Peterson. So that's why I think Errol's going to beat Lamont Peterson. I just don't see Lamont Peterson being able to outbox him for 12 rounds. I don't see Lamont Peterson being able to withstand Errol Spence for 12 rounds. And I don't see Lamont Peterson overall, even if he fights the way he did against Danny Garcia, I actually think that would actually get him stopped quicker than if he fought in the trenches. I don't know, because he was boxing on the back foot a lot with Danny Garcia. He was boxing and moving, which is good, but Errol can cut out the ring. See what I'm saying? Like, Errol's got skills to cut out the ring, which is only going to allow him to plant his feet and dig more punches to the body and hurt you even more. So, I just don't think it's a fight Lamont is going to win, and that's what it is. I honestly, I don't quite understand why people in the YTBC think he's going to beat Errol Spence. I mean, I see that they're points, but I don't see why they think those points would come to fruition on fight night. Because the strengths that he has, the strengths that Lamont Peterson has over Errol Spence are the types of advantages and strengths that he can sustain over 12 rounds. There's just no way around it. So that's what it is, man. I think the Kell Brook fight showed me enough with Errol Spence, and he's in my opinion, until Keith Thurman has another statement performance again. In my opinion, I think Errol Spence is the number 1 welterweight in the world. And there's no way around it. I think you got Errol number 1 as far as, and this is just as far as for me, this is as far as talent and potential. Errol's number 1 at the moment. We know what Manny Pacquiao can do, so there's no need in trying to rank him above everybody. He's an all-time great already. And then you got Keith Thurman as well. Those 3 guys, interchange them, but I think Errol Spence right now for me is number 1. Pacquiao. Obviously, you could say he's number 1 because he's Pacquiao, And then Thurman is in the mix as well. So that's just what it is, man. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any people out there in the world who thinks that, besides casual boxing talk, because I know casual boxing talk is going to say that, this man Lamont Peterson is going to win and all this nonsense. Do any of you guys out there think that Lamont Peterson is going to beat Errol Spence Jr.? And if you do, please let me know and illustrate why you think so with some nice points and explanations why in the comments down below. So yeah, leave them comments down below. Take the time to subscribe. And like I always say in every video, my name is Brennan Taylor. And you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. And that's Dania in South Florida, if you didn't know. So if you didn't know, hey, no shame on you. Just get your geography up. Until next time, take care, guys.